Welcome to the online experience.
What is going on, guys? Peace, love, and light. It is your boy, Joshua October.
And I'm Jimmy Levar, and this is the online experience.
What's up? This is Josh Vietti. I'm a hip-hop violinist, and I'm extremely grateful to be here today.
Appreciate you, man.
Yes, brother, you've been doing so many great things. Listen, I know we're short on time, but listen, I want to dive deep. I want to go into as many things possible as we can. So
Let's do it.
Briefly, let's take it back. When you started to play, at the age of 4 years old, and then received a scholarship at the age of 7. Can you talk to me a little bit about that?
Definitely. So I got put in violin lessons when I was 4 years old, and my parents didn't have a lot of money, but I was able to get a violin scholarship. So my mom would take extra jobs to help me get violin lessons. And then when I was 7, I got a violin scholarship with Misha Lefkowitz. He's in the LA Philharmonic, incredible virtuoso. So my formal training really began with him, and then I studied with him for 10 years. And without that, I have to be honest, it would be hard to do what I do today.
Wow. Also, I mean, I find that actually like really interesting that, because I love when I hear like the stories where like, the parents were really involved with how, one came up. So my question to you is exactly like, are you still close to your parents even till today, or like, how is that?
Yes. My focus right now is, because I have 2 kids of my own, is on them and fostering their growth in education, sports, and music. But I do my best to stay close with my parents.
Gotcha. Oh, and respect to that, because I said I have a 5-year-old right now. She's in the room watching an old show that I used to watch called Big Comfy Couch, and like she loves it, surprisingly. But yeah, so totally understand. Is like we definitely want to put in those instruments in them with life and just upbringing as a complete whole, because it's just super important. And like sounds like you're doing a great job, man.
I'm trying. It's a lot of work, just balancing family and work as a musician, because it's just so up and down. So I'll be on the road, or I'm at home. If I'm at home, I need work. If I'm on the road, I want to be home with family. So like trying to get that balance is always a challenge. But I've been doing this, I think, 16 years now, so I'm getting a little better at it. And just striving for balance and that perfection of doing the best I can, making music and taking care of my family.
Yeah.
Respect to that.
Yeah, I
Sure.
love that. No, that's awesome. And so you've been doing this for a while and you started street performing in 2006.
I did.
Can you tell me a bit about that experience, and how it was, following your passion and doing what you love and, sometimes there was many roadblocks because people won't allow you to be great, how was your journey for you in that part?
So in 2006, I went to college. I went to Cal State Long Beach, and I had no idea you could make money doing music. If I'm being completely honest, I've always loved it, but I was like, oh, I probably should study some other things. And I got out of school and I was doing a door-to-door sales actually, and I was like, this is not great. And I started making music when I wasn't working, and I was like, it turned out to sound pretty good. I love just the mixture of a beat and a violin, so that's what I was doing. And I was like, I wonder where I could test this out. And I know there were street performers in LA, so I was like, I'm gonna go out there and check it out. So I brought a little speaker, brought a little case of CDs. I literally would write with a Sharpie on the CD. These are the tracks. It was pretty ghetto, but I went out there and literally in 15 minutes I had a big crowd, sold my entire box of CDs, and then I got kicked out because I didn't have a permit, and I learned about that. But the light bulb went off and I was like, wait a second, that was fun, and people actually will pay money for this. Those I was like, how can I do more of that? And so it was like the progression of better recordings, just hustling really, street performing, and until I was able to quit my job and do that full time. And so I did that for about 4 or 5 years, I think, until I kind of like took off.
And at what moment did you feel like you actually took off? Like was there a particular moment that represented what that meant to you?
Oh yeah. So in 2010, I thought this would be the big break. It wasn't. But I played a street performer in the NBA All-Star Game commercial. So LeBron dunking, and I'm playing the violin in the subway, and it was pretty rad. But what really allowed me to stop street performing and start touring professionally was then I went on the Ellen show, I think in 2011, and then literally the next day I got a call from Las Vegas and played at the Aria Casino, and they paid me a bunch of money, and then I got to play for Michael Jordan and start opening for artists. I'm like, oh wow, like literally like a week before I was just hustling on the street and trying to sell as many CDs as possible, and finally getting like a check to play music for a gig. So that was definitely the thing. Just going on that show, having some visibility, allowed me to like move on professionally.
That's amazing. That's dope. Now, touring, performing. Now it's different when you're performing and touring and you go on stage and you're rocking out with a mic versus, having to be in a certain position, having to make sure that your flow and your rhythm is on point and key. How is it for you in every show that, you get ready to hit the stage? How is your preparation?
It depends on the shows and the set list. So if I have a big show coming up, I'll just focus on that particular set list. Or last year I got the tour of 50 Cent, and I played 2 songs with him, but every day I play the same 2 songs in front of 30,000 people. And so you definitely cannot mess up on those 2 songs. So for like just a month, I swear to God, other than running scales, I would play only 2 songs. So when I got out there, I wouldn't mess up, and I do a good job. So it depends on the set and the event, because I always want to do a good job. I've learned so many songs that if you'd say, hey, play this song from your album that you recorded 10 years ago, I couldn't do that. But if I were to refresh it for a week, then it would be great. It's like like I think you can only be strong at like one set at a time. It's impossible to play everything. And got to focus on what's coming up.
Yeah. So all right. So this is kind of like a little funny curveball, but hopefully not too much of a curveball. All right. So there's this thing like in hip hop, where it's kind of known for like, these guys go out and have these really fantastic shows with like lots of energy. And, there's a thing called, there's in the culture something called groupies. Do violinists also have like the same effect? Like, are there girls waiting outside, the line, like, I don't know, with like a violin, paint bodies? Like, like, how crazy is it? Like,
Maybe not for me. I'm happily married.
Okay. Gotcha.
But I'm sure other violinists are taking advantage of that though.
Oh, we got you. Oh no. Yeah, I guess not in the sense of like, something that you were like uplifting or whatever, but like, is it just as crazy as like your normal typical like hip hop artist?
To be honest with you, probably not. But if any person, like a violinist, a piano player, a producer, a rapper, a singer, has a certain amount of exposure, they're going to get a similar reaction. So people are really attracted to whatever is buzzing. So that's something it almost doesn't matter what you're doing. But if you're hot regardless. You play a saxophone.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I agree.
Yes, I hear you on that, brother. Now, Tell me about, the life of marriage, because, love is the most powerful thing of them all. True and genuine love is literally, the number one frequency in this universe that we live in. I myself am also happily married. Now, for you and your beloved, how was it, connecting with her? She's also in the industry as well as a graphic designer. How was that moment, and, building everything that you guys, build it from the beginning to where you guys are at today?
Well, I'm very lucky. I have a very good synergy. And we complement each other. Where I'm weak, she's strong, and vice versa. Like, if you have two people that are too similar, it could be bad. And so she's very, very organized, and I'm very creative and disorganized. And then I'm just like spontaneous. She's a planner. She's good at doing graphic design. I draw stick figures, and it's crazy. Like, so that's just an example how we both help each other out, and it definitely takes the team to make it work. So each person's got to work just as hard, but I think you got to have the yin and yang, if you will. But maybe not. There's probably people that are similar too, but that's just my personal experience.
Yeah. I mean, I love a good stick figure, by the way. I mean, they're hard to beat. But you're right. In my opinion, I'm completely agreeing with you. So, and not to leave this so much to me, but like, I had a past relationship where we were so much alike, like almost like she's like the replica of me, but just like a female version. And now I'm like in the complete opposite, and it's working so well. So, I also can attest to that for sure.
Congrats to you
Yeah,
as
thanks,
well.
man. Yeah, no, it's great. It feels good. It feels good. It's like you're not even trying. It's just everything just kind of flowing like leaves in the wind.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And, family is important, and family, is, priority for sure, especially your own, bringing life into this world, and, trying to teach and raise your boys in the right direction, and make sure you show them the right things. How is it being a father that, you got two boys who are also very talented as well, also violinist and plays piano as well, great swimmer as well, swimmers, how is that for you, not, as a father, and just, seeing your boys and your creation, unfolding?
I love it. I want to help foster their talent and their careers in any way I can. So like, I literally started from the ground, the street up, and pounded the pavement. And I want them to work hard, but I don't want them to have to go through anything that I did. So I'm already feeding them on tracks with me. My older son's a producer also. They both produce, but he's already producing some bigger tracks. So I'm trying to plant those seeds, because I've noticed really nothing in music, even if you have a ton of money behind you, nothing in music happens overnight. You got to plant seeds. And I think it takes 5 to 8 years probably for things to really grow and see like, oh, wow, music's doing really well. Like, you can make some money off of that. So I'm trying to plant those seeds now for my kids, because they're 10 and 12. So when they're 18 and 20 and be like, hey, what do I want to do with my life? They already have some money, and whether they want to continue producing or playing music live, they'll have like a little bit of, I don't know, not only financial freedom, just be kind of like already set, so they can have a better future than I did when I started.
Right.
Yeah, because I think some kids go into it, and they get to a certain age and they don't even have like an idea of what they want to do. So I think the fact that you've kind of set them up for some type of motivative thing that they enjoy doing, that they could make a career out of it, and it could make life actually a lot more beneficial and enjoyable.
My theory is you got to recognize your kid's talent. So my oldest plays piano, and he's an incredible producer. My youngest is an incredible producer who plays violin. And they both have their own ways of learning things. I say give them whatever they need. They need music software. They need Logic. They need Pro Tools. They need give it to them. Give them a computer. Give them a piano. And then say, hey, look, here's YouTube. YouTube's free. It's free education. If you want to learn anything, you go on YouTube, you can teach yourself. Whether it's a song, a software, an instrument. With violin and piano, it's good to have some people work with you. But I mean, for the most part, you can teach yourself how to make beats. And I say, hey, just go do it. So like, if they have the hunger, they're going to figure it out.
Yeah, because I think right now my daughter's watching a lot of mukbangs, like Asian, like she's super into it.
Okay.
And also but like I'm trying to figure out her thing. So yeah, definitely she's onto something acting related apparently. But yeah, wow, man, that's really it's really devotive. Like the way you move and the way you kind of have like this stillness about you that's like very like I understand that all this is happening, but I need to figure this out. I need to figure this out, and like it's all going to happen regardless. Like, where does that come from? Does that come from like what life is kind of thrown at you to this point, or is like does that thing kind of change?
No, I just think learning experiences. So it's crazy just dealing with music. I've been doing this for a very long time, so you see a lot of people kind of like come up and then disappear real quickly. And to stick around, you just one have to provide quality and be consistent. Two, not screw over the people because that'll bite you eventually. And just incrementally grow in whatever you're doing. So that's kind of how I look at it, like a business. I got to show up, even if I'm tired. Hey, I need to be recording for this many hours today. I don't really feel like it. So it's often you're inspired at certain times, but that always doesn't find you the next day. You're like, oh, I've got this great idea, and then the next day it's just you got to put in the work. So I'd rather record music and play live and work at that than go to an office. So like either way, I'm going to be doing something. I'm like, oh, I don't really want to do that today. And then when you get the final product, it's pretty awesome.
No, that's awesome. I love that. That's inspiration too for others out there as well. And I got a couple more questions as well before we get ready to wrap it up. Now with all your performances and the stages you've hit and the different genres you've been in and been involved in, which one is your most favorite? Which genre do you like to play the most, or which genre of performances do you like to be on that stage and feel that crowd's energy?
Easily hip hop. It's my favorite genre. It was crazy. If I go back to street performing, I initially wasn't necessarily playing to like rap beats. They were just beats. Like I'd find loops, like Apple loops. I started making violin loops with the beat. And then I started getting picked up by in recording sessions. So like it'd be an R&B producer would find me on the street, or a hip hop producer would find me on the street. And I go into the booth with these guys and hear these really gritty beats. And I was like, oh, I love that so much. And then I'd add the little classical influence on top of that. And when I heard the marriage of those two worlds, I just fell in love with it. And so I'd say since like 2007, I've just been obsessed with like really hard hitting hip hop beats and classical melodies together. There's something about it.
Yeah, it's so clear to see that, hip hop and the way you play that violin are meant to be. Is there anything else in this world that you think just as much as that thing, like this is something that I gotta do, like, before I leave this world? Like, is there anything particular? Like, if you weren't doing this, like, what else would you be doing?
I don't know. That's a good question. So it's pretty much I'm just doing music and or family. I'm like one of the two.
Got you.
I won't bring up right now, but like as far as just where my focus are, those are the two things.
Got you. I respect that.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And as we get ready to wrap it up, my last question for you, my brother, would be, on every episode we ask the same guest each guest the same question. Spirituality can mean so many different things. To you, what does spirituality means to you?
That's a good question. Put me on the spot. Definitely believing in a higher power, something greater than you, and that we're all connected. There's energy, and you got to put good out and to get good back. That's how I think.
Yeah, it goes back into that yin and yang thing that you were talking about in the beginning, and and I think synergy as well. Synergy. There's this one thing, even for all us to be here today, to have this open conversation and dialogue, and kind of ask random questions, just to see where we all are mentally. I think it's a beautiful thing, and man, I think you're doing great. It's so awesome to hear your story and to see how devoted you are to your family, and truly stick by that to whatever means necessary. Yeah, man, this is a great conversation for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Before y'all wrap up, on 5 days, I got a major song coming out with Trae the Truth. He's a Houston legend, and he's introduced me to a lot of people in rap. It's because of him. I got to play with him. Open for Snoop Dogg. He was at the celebrity basketball game with 50, and I was like, it's just so connected. And I went from covering his songs 5 years ago to now collaborating and producing and performing on a song with him. So in 5 days.
Oh, wow.
So if you want to see that, make sure you follow me on Instagram. It's at Josh Vietti, Spotify, and Pandora. Those three things I would recommend. You go to Instagram, Spotify is Josh Vietti, and then Pandora, just look me up. You'll see that music pop up. 5 days from now, July 10th. It's also my birthday. I'm dropping it on purpose.
Oh, wow. Happy birthday.
That's right. Yes. Happy early birthday. Yes, it is.
It's a really dope track. It's gonna be fun.
Oh wow!
That's
all right, so
awesome.
I'm gonna tune in. I'll be following you, following all of the things, and I'll be keeping up with you, man. Definitely want to see you keep rising.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Absolutely, brother. It's all about that love and support, giving out that peace, love, and light, and that is all the time that we have. So it's your boy Joshua. Delva.
I'm Jimmy Levar, and this is the Online Experience.
Peace.
Hey.